Man, it's hot in Anau. I have just arrived and checked into my campsite. I have a cabin, and this is the room. I will show you. So we have got lots of space if I brought the wheelchair in here. A massive double width door, which would get the wheelchair in really easily. But there is a lip on it, on the floor. But that's not too much of a drama, I don't think. It's properly kitted out with rails where they should be. The soap dispenser is down low, nice to notice, and there is no step into the bathroom. What I like about this campsite is that although there is steps into all of the cabins, there is also a ramp onto this deck, which means that nothing separate needs to be done. Everything is integrated and built in, and the ramps go all the way along. And there is no disabled width car park, so she put a cone in the next car parking space so no one could park next to me. And yeah, so far so good. Tomorrow I am swimming across Lake Anau. This will be my second event as a para, and all my ideas of leaving the leg in the car are all dashed, because this is how I've got to get to the beach. This is where I've got to meet. Now the beach looks sandy with small stones, so it's going to be tricky. I think I'm going to need someone to get me all the way up the beach to those rocks before I can put the leg on. And the swim goes from the other side back to here, so it's in one straight line, which makes it look further. So we're going from over there. There is a little clearing. You can just see it in the distance to the left of the boat. From there, back to here. Over there on the other side is the Kepler Track. Kepler Track is one of New Zealand's great walks, and it is managed by the Department of Conservation. Department of Conservation, and it's a 60-kilometre circular walk that goes up over the mountains, alpine ridges and that sort of thing, and you have to book it and stay in huts and carry your own stuff and all that sort of jazz. The path comes right past here, and there's a water taxi here that takes you across to the path every day at 8:30. I have just got back from going out to dinner, and I am trying a new thing with the prosthetic leg. The prosthetist gave me this, which is prosthetic antiperspirant, because he wants me to put the liner and the extra sock on the other way round. So I've had this on all evening since I went out, and it's this way round with the liner underneath and the prosthetic sock on top. Now I will admit it is more comfortable that way around, and I've been able to walk around no problem all evening with just one crutch, but I fear it might be a bit wet inside here. Let's find out. Dripping. Now the last time I tried to wear the liner underneath, it slid right off. It's really hard to say whether that antiperspirant works or not. I can't really tell you. And I might have to put it on multiple times a day. It's really simple. It's got aluminium chlorohydrate in water in it. And aluminium chlorohydrate's something they use in antiperspirant sticks to sort of reduce water. So yeah, maybe it's just one of those crappy things that I'm just going to have to cope with. And look, I mean, you can see the amount of sweat there is on that liner. It's all just a bit bleh. Maybe I'm going to have a new leg routine where I've got to clean everything every morning and every evening, every time I put it on, take it off and stuff. Anyway, I still think a leg is better than not a leg, even if it is high maintenance. Saturday morning. Now, the sun is shining, there is no wind, and I believe the conditions down on the lake are perfect. Now, I hope I'm not trailing too far off the back, because I believe the course record for across the lake is 24 minutes. However, that's all right. I don't care. I'm not likely to win it. It's just being in it. and I'm hoping that the more of these I do, the less nervous I get about the exit, how to exit, and the safety of getting across beaches and all them different types of surfaces. That is my goal. The swimming is easy. It's all the other bits that are not.
How was the movie?
When is it acceptable to wear odd shoes? When you're an amputee and you have to go on a beach. One foot you need to not fill your shoes with sand, so you just wear barefoot or a croc, and the other foot is not going to get wet or sand or anything else, so you keep the shoe on. Across to Anau, swim, done. Now, I didn't stop my watch at exactly the time I finished, but I think it was just under 45 minutes, which is what I expected, because I haven't really been working on speed. I've just been working on distance and getting swimming. Now, the little group of people that were organising this, it's a very small event, were all amazingly helpful. What I did was I wore a Union Jack cap. It's got a big Union Jack down one side of it. It was an age group cap that I had from when I was racing for Great Britain. I decided, because I could choose what hat to wear, that it would be the best hat that I've got to make me noticeable, so that they could find me at the end. I asked, the Union Jack is on one side of the hat, and I asked what side the kayakers and jet skis were, and wore the Union Jack on that side, and it worked a dream. I was taken over to the other side on a jet ski, because they figured it would be easier to get on and off than the boat. And so I had somebody holding me, hopping one crutch onto the jet ski, and then away we went. Now, I've never been on a jet ski, even with 2 feet. There's a lot of stabilization going on. I suppose it's a bit like a bike on water. And when you haven't got a foot on that side, man, I had to cling on to the handles at the back. But that's all right. When I got to the other end, I just jumped off the side, and all was sweet. 1,900 meters across Lake Anau. Felt like a really long way, because you're swimming across a lake. You're not passing some scenery, you're not passing mountains. When I was swimming around Lake Ruby Island, something's always got something to look at, and things like that. But across Lake Anau, you're looking at a mountain in the distance, and that is it. Now, I am quite experienced with open water swimming, and I was talking to some people at the other end about where the finish chute was, because I couldn't quite see it, and we were lining it up on the mountains and the tree line, because you can't see the finish chute at all. I also remembered to wear my contact lenses, which I forgot to wear last time, so I could actually see in the distance. And then I swam across, lining myself up against the right hand side of the tallest mountain. It seems that not everybody thought of that plan, because I was talking to a lady afterwards who had actually been struggling with the sighting and had been relying on me, because she was behind me. Anyway, we had a wee chat, and we've swapped numbers, and she's offered to put me up if I want to come up and swim at the lake any other time. And I got invited into a local swimming group, and they've told me about another event at the 27th of February. So how damned exciting is that? I can't get over this. So it was, I had a really nice wee chat with people. There was a lot of people that had never seen an amputee, and a lot of people that were genuinely in awe of what I was doing, because they just never seen it firsthand, there in their local lake before. So that was really good to see, to expose people, to disability, and the fact that disability doesn't mean you can't or anything like that. And a couple of youngsters, I say youngsters, teens, 20s, they were, shaking my hand and saying, wow, amazing, and all that sort of thing. Now, I don't mind that, because it demonstrates to the youth these days that anything is actually possible if you set your mind to it, and it doesn't matter what your disability is. I also was talking to a guy that I know who he is, but I don't know him to talk to, but he has seen me in our local pool and has got connection in paracycling. Now, he was asking, was the swimmer he'd seen in Splash Palace? And I said yes. And he was asking me, what had happened and how long ago, and wow, you're doing really great. And I said, oh yeah, my next goal is to try and get this leg to cycle, but I haven't figured out how to get my foot out of a cleat yet, because I ended up screwing the leg off. And he said that he's got connections in paracycling coaches, and the next time he sees me in Splash, he will put me in contact with them because they'll be able to help. So that is an exciting thing too. So I was only sitting there on the beach, on the waterfront for a wee while, but I got so much from it and spoke to so many amazing people, and it was just really, really great. My Union Jack hat worked a treat. They could see exactly who I was, and the person was standing in the shallow water waiting for me, and I'd even figured out which crutch was which, and I hadn't told him. So this swim exit this time was a lot better than the last one, and it's just going to be practice. And the difference this time was they could identify me. I picked the hat because I was identifiable. I'm going to have to think of a way that I can do that when I have to wear a certain coloured hat in a wave, because that was the key for being able to spot who I was. And this time we just went straight from the floor to standing up, and he was on one arm and I had one crutch, and we hopped up the beach because the beach is really sandy. But in Wanaka, the Challenge Wanaka, it's a concrete boat ramp. So I think if I can just get from the water straight up onto my feet and then crutches, I think that's going to be the best way for that sort of surface. Anyway, it's all a learning game, and onwards and upwards to the next one. Oh, and my biggest fear, being last. Now, I know it shouldn't matter, but it's always something I've worried about, even prior to being an amputee. But my record still stands. I was not last. There were, I think, 4 people behind me. So that is a good thing too. This is usually a peaceful spot, but there's a kayaking lesson, so it's not peaceful today. Although this is relatively flat terrain, it is forest terrain, and it's proven to be way harder than I imagined. Tricky underfoot when it's not flat and tar sealed and things like that, and your rest of your legs having to work extra overtime because you don't have an ankle. On this type of ground and in this type of heat, 0.5 kilometre is quite far enough. Little steps.